Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Now, Gervonta Davis has just signed a 6 to 7 fight deal with PBC that's supposed to make him richer than where Floyd Mayweather was at the same age. Now, the thing about this, right? The question is for me, is can Gervonta Davis, can he actually go out here and become undisputed at 135? And what I will tell you is, I personally think he can. But I know there are a lot of people who don't really think that way. They feel that Gervonta Davis, for the most part, has been cherry-picking opponents. And I do think that there was a strategy and a method behind the madness to get Gervonta to where he is. And I don't mean as far as his career. I mean as far as his earnings. And that was executed flawlessly. But I do think that they compromised some of the fan support, although he has a huge following and a huge contingency, but maybe not the consensus, not an all-inclusive consensus that they think Gervonta Davis is the best boxer, especially when you start talking pound-for-pound ranking, because they feel that there are other fighters that he should have fought. But what I will say is when we come and we take a look at Gervonta Davis and what he has to do to become undisputed, for me, I think it's pretty straightforward. You know what I'm saying? When you take a look at, let me pull this up. We're going to take a look at something, and I'm just going to have an honest conversation with you. Let me see something here. Where are we at? Boom. Look at Tyson Fury. I never take this down. I keep it up because of damn, here we go. Because of damn Tyson Fury. I want to make sure everybody remembers what Tyson Fury was about when he went to those Wilder fights. Let me minimize this for you, and we're gonna see what's really going on here. Okay, boom. Because I want to look at what really is Gervonta Davis dealing with. All right, so this is where Gervonta Davis is, man. He's floating around here at the 135-pound division, the lightweight division, and you can see that some of the competition there. Let me slide this over just a bit. He's set to face Frank Martin. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I am surprised how many people are saying they think Frank Martin's going to beat him. I do think Frank Martin can fight. I think he's athletic. I think he has power. I think Derrick James is a solid trainer. I think he and Tank are pretty evenly matched as far as what they bring to the ring. I think Tank has a little more power, but I think the main difference here is just experience. I think Tank's experience, I think his muscle memory, I think all that stuff is going to just show up in the fight because he does things instinctively without thinking because he's so used to doing it. He's been doing it for a long time. Frank Martin has those qualities too, but I just think that Davis has more depth, okay? So when you take a look at what Davis is about to face, I think he gets past Frank Martin. But after that, then we got to really stop here and take a look at what he has on the table. Now, it's a 6 to 7 fight deal is my understanding. And when I look at it, although it's lucrative, it's with PBC, even though people say PBC's falling apart and PBC's coming to an end. Tank just signed a huge deal with them. And underneath that promotional banner, looks like he's going to make some serious money. Now, there's two standout champions that Tank mentioned. Shakur Stevenson, who's here, the WBC champion. Then he mentioned Teofimo Lopez, who's up here at 140 pounds. Let me bubble up a little bit more. And many people feel Teofimo Lopez is the man at 140. And they feel Teofimo, out of all these fighters, 135 and 140, that he would give Gervonta Davis the biggest problems. I don't know if I agree with that, but I will say he's athletic, he can box, he's got power. But the thing is, those guys are familiar with each other because they spend so much time in the ring sparring. But according to a lot of reports, this lightweight unification fight between Davis and the WBC champion Stevenson is going to be part of that deal and could happen possibly later this year. Now, of course, Davis has to win, but I didn't know that he was in negotiations to face Teofimo Lopez last year, but then the discussions collapsed. I know there were talks and rumors, but I didn't really buy into it. But anyway, if you take a look at Davis and what he can be doing going forward, it looks like he could be fighting Pitbull Cruz and maybe even Ryan Garcia. So Teofimo Lopez Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, and Pitbull Cruz. That's 4 names right there out of the 6 to 7 fight deal that Gervonta Davis signed. Now, the thing about fighting a guy like Pitbull Cruz, who's up at 140 now and just beat Rolly Romero, Davis beat him back in 2021, and then he stopped Ryan Garcia. So some people feel like there's no need to see those fights again. But if you really think about what happened, man, with Pitbull Cruz and what he did to Rolly, Ryan Garcia destroying Devin Haney, even though there's the issue with the pad usage, the bottom line is I think those guys have earned an opportunity to get back in the ring with Tank, and I think that they've piqued the interest of boxing fans. Okay, so although Haney lost, even Haney's name has been brought up again as being a possible opponent for Tank as part of the 6 to 7 fight deal. So that's 5 names right there. And there is another name that's come up, and that's Floyd Mayweather. Tank Davis wants to have a grudge match with Floyd Mayweather, get him in the ring, and it looks like he wants to knock out his former mentor, man, which I think is absolutely hilarious. But in case you guys are saying what happened, all I know is he spent a lot of time underneath Mayweather Promotions. In 2022, he left the money team, just trying to go under the guidance of Al Heyman, and he got away from Floyd Mayweather. I really don't know why there's so much the sour grapes that exist. Seems like it was an agreeable split, but goddamn, boy, you're talking about it's not even a fracture to the relationship. It seems to be a clean break. So something happened. I think it could be where Gervonta, at the end of the day, he's looking at the money Floyd was taking from him, which comes with the territory. But then it's almost like what Floyd was going through with Bob Arum. Same shit Floyd complained about. He came and did it to Gervonta, even though, like Don King said, it took him out the ghetto and made him a millionaire. He did him so bad, right? At the end of the day, Davis is a temperamental cat, and it looks like he wants to get his hands on Mayweather. Anyway, man, we're going to see what's going to happen. Mayweather, Gervonta Davis trading verbal jabs. But what my thing is, when you take a look at Gervonta Davis here, and you got the WBO champion Dennis Berinchyk, the IBF champion Vasily Lomachenko, we talked about Shakur Stevenson. There's no mention of these 2 names, and that's my thing. They're not even talking about the 2 Ukrainian fighters. Why not? Because if he's looking to become undisputed and he has a 6 to 7 fight deal, to me, quite easily, it should be Berinchyk, Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson. That's 3. There may be Haney, Teofimo, and I don't know about the Pitbull Cruz, but even so, Haney, Teofimo, Pitbull Cruz, and Ryan. That's 7. Those are 7 solid fights, in my opinion. Well, then Frank Martin is one, so that's how I see it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, man, these damn Ukrainians can fight. I'm not saying I think they beat Tank, but like Lomachenko, we know he's a little old. He's out of his weight class. He's really a 126 pounder. But he got the skills to pay the bills and talent, and he was looking for bigger and better opportunities and bigger fight purses. Bumped up to 135, made some noise, but kept coming up short because he didn't put his foot on the gas pedal in the early rounds. And as a result, lost his right to complain down the stretch because he just didn't do enough. And that's the case with Teofimo. When he fought Devin Haney, even I thought when I watched that fight that Lomachenko beat him. Then I rewatched it and I broke it down minute by minute, and then you can see Lomachenko just didn't do enough. But that's just my opinion. Now with this guy Berinchyk is just an absolute animal, man. What'd he say? I don't give a F. Like, he really doesn't care. But this is what we're going to see when it comes to Tank Davis. Just really what he's made of, especially if they get him on an accelerated fight schedule. Looks like it's 6 or 7 fights, maybe 2 fights a year, could possibly be 3, depending on how fast he wants to get through it and make all of his money. But Tank did say after he finishes the 6 or 7 fight deal that he's done with boxing. Now, not many people believe that. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what to believe either. But if he's gonna make damn near $200-300 million, I mean, a kid like that from Baltimore, why continue hanging around the sport when you got money like that and you can do it? You can do whatever you want. Your kids can. Your kids. If everybody, they have the right people in their ear, tell them how to make sure they get the life insurances and invest the money properly, man. They can keep turning that shit over and over, generation after generation. But it's gonna take somebody with a little bit of brain to make that happen. But aside from that, I'm wondering if he decides Undisputed isn't really wants to do. He is a WBA champion, so he got Zepeda, who's his mandatory. He's about to fight Frank Martin. You got Schofield, De Los Santos. So he got some guys here to fight at the WBC. I mean, but Tank, when he gets an option for a voluntary defense, I would think that he'd be looking at these champions. And of course, if they're looking for unifications, more times than not, the sanctioning bodies will actually kind of try to work with each other. But that's not a guarantee. I know some people out here still think, oh, well, a unification takes precedence over the fighter fighting the mandatory someone else. That's not true. Sanctioning bodies don't have to agree on that. You know what I'm saying? They do not have to agree. They're going to do what's in the best interest of them. And if they feel having a unification bout isn't in the best interest, they won't do it. Okay? And anyone saying, now you're wrong. Okay, well, how about goddamn, what's his name? Berta Bia was supposed to fight Bivol for that unification, right? And then they didn't do it. WBC blocked that, and they pushed their guy, Caleb Smith, because they wanted to see if they can get Caleb Smith inserted so he can pick up the strap. So it just depends on the politics and politics of boxing. It's nothing new. It happens even it happens in all businesses, man. It doesn't matter when people have an agenda and they have something that they want, you know, that creates more of a convenience or gives them an upper hand. They're going to want to have that. It's all about having a competitive advantage, and in boxing, a financial advantage too. So it is what it is. But for Tank Davis, I think Tank Davis, man, Tank Davis' biggest problem could be himself. But as long as he controls his self-government, stays out of trouble, I think tones down to social media nonsense. I think people could take it more serious. But there's a certain, when I watch Tank Davis, and this is just me, man, there's a certain level of maturity there, but then there's a certain quality where you can see he's fighting with himself because of what's in him. Like I used to always say, man, even with me, leaving home at 19, I had to wait. I would have left at 18, but I got in some trouble as a teenager, and I had to get approval to get in. So I had to get a waiver to get in, right, to go away into the military. But even, man, up until even now, you know, depending on the situation and circumstances, there's something that's in me that remains dormant, but can surface at any time, depending on the situation. And that is just something that won't go away. But the advantage I have now is I think about, okay, I can do what I want, but there are consequences, you know, and at this point in life, you know, I just ain't trying to deal with that. And you can see with Tank, he's learning that. You can be out here fighting in the street. You can be out here being a hothead. You can be out here still saying I have a temper. I've always had a temper, and you can still come out here and make excuses and alibi for your behaviors and actions, you know. And you can do what you want, but there are consequences. And I'll be honest with you, I'm glad Tank Davis went to jail. I'm glad he went to jail. I am, because he learned that there are consequences out here, and this shit ain't fun. Whether he beat the girl or not, or whatever happened, that ain't my business. I don't care, right? All I know is I like the fact that he went to jail. Because if he was thinking, I'll come out here and fighting in the street, or I'll come out here and think I can put my hands on people, whether it's men, women, whatever, thinking violence is okay, he learned a lesson, didn't he? That goddamn, even if my man was innocent, they still came in here and put me in jail. Then he dealt with the legal system. Jesus Christ, these people, they look at everything, the social media stuff, what you're doing, videos. They listen to what you say, and they judge you. So he felt like he didn't get a fair shake. Now, I don't know if he did or he didn't, but what I will tell you is I went through something similar, and I'm telling you, that shit makes you see things differently. I'll tell you that. So you have a choice, right? And then you had the consequences of your choices. And I'm glad he got that out the way. And I don't think he's going to end up in any more problems. But I do see he's trying to make that transition, but he's fighting with himself. Because what's in you is in you. It's just like with me. I don't like nobody joking with me and be like, oh, man, you crazy, shut up, or nothing like that. Yo, man, where my mind goes is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I've had a full career. I'm very successful. I do this YouTube shit because it's therapeutic. But I'm telling you, that there's something that's just in you. If it's in you, it's in you. And that's why for me, like I think Tank, you got to put yourself in the right environments, around the right people. Because this thing about Tank becoming undisputed, he'll never get there. He'll never get there if he's not around the right people, the right environments. He's going to find himself in bullshit. And I don't want that for him. But I do think Tank Davis has everything that it takes to come out here, and you see these names, Baranchek, Lomachenko, Shakir Stevenson. I think he can clip those guys. I do. I think he's that special of a fighter, that kind of power, that kind of IQ, that kind of team. And I think he just naturally has what when I was in Korea and I was boxing in Korea, that Korean coach would say that there was a fighter in there, a young kid. He said he has gang. And I was like, yo, what the hell is that? And he was trying to explain to me what that word meant. But basically he's just saying like you hear people out here saying the guy has some dog in him, that fighter has some dog in him, I'm a dog. Meaning that you had to kill that kid, you know? And that's all he used to always say. Hood champion, I can't remember the kid's name, but he was like, he has gang, because the guy could barely speak English. He has gang, you know, fire. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. You're saying that, you know, you're going to have to kill him. You know what I'm saying? And I think Tank has that same shit. You know what I mean? That fire, that gang. I really think he has that. But anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans on 7 continents. Gervonta Davis, and I'll be honest with you. I wish all these young fighters, man, you make your money. If you get the opportunity to make hundreds of millions, if you want to stay around till you're 40, cool. But goddamn, you make that kind of money, man, enjoy your life. You can't get time back. I've been retired almost 6 years. Stayed home, man. All my little young ones, the youngest about to be 7. I was there the whole time for everything for that little dude, man. I have no regrets. Don't get no regrets. No matter how much money people want to pay me, even now, to come out there and work or do whatever. Let me tell you something, man. Ain't nothing like being able to do what the F you want to do. But you got to have your ducks in a row. But, man, just to feel like there's an obligation to do something, that ain't cool. But with tanking, you got that luxury to live whatever life you want. You know, chill out, try something different. I think Tank has a personality, has a smile, has a charisma to where he can definitely do other things. But if he's a guy who has a lot of time in his hands and he's still surrounding himself with the wrong people, he's going to get in a lot of trouble. He may need something to keep him focused. So maybe hanging around boxing until he's 40 may be the answer to where he really matures and sees things differently, because it's all about getting every day just trying to, you know, make yourself a little better. You know what I mean? So anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.